Hi, everybody. My name is Mélisse Brunet, and I am the music director of the Northeastern Pennsylvania Philharmonic. Today, it is my greatest pleasure to introduce you to one of our violin players, Robyn Quinnett. Hi, Robyn. Thank you so much for being here today with us. It's been more than a year that we have not played music together. How have you been?
I've been hanging in there. It's been an interesting year, filled with other things besides playing live music, but I'm excited to get back to it when it's safe.
Let's start with where you are from, because you're coming from a beautiful island, Montserrat Island, that has a very special geography and history. Could you please talk to us about it?
Sure. Yes, I'm from Montserrat, which is this tiny little island in the British West Indies, and that's where I started playing music. I first started on piano, and then later, when my family moved to the States, because my dad was in the U.S. military, I switched to violin after seeing a live symphony orchestra perform.
What's fascinating is a story here. So you had started piano because is it your parents who told you, oh, Robyn, that would be good to play some music. Maybe you can play the piano. And then you had like a crash on like, oh my God, I love what they are doing during that concert.
Yes, absolutely. I sort of copied my older brother who was already taking piano lessons, and my granddad would always play records in the house. So I was always listening to classical music growing up.
Do you remember which concert it was that started you on violin?
I forget what was on the program, but I know that I was in North Carolina and I was sitting really close to the front. So all I could see were the violins, and I was taken aback by them. And I begged for a year if I could switch from the piano to the violin. So eventually my parents let me.
It will be soon a year that the pandemic really hit the United States of America. And I would be really interested to know how you have been coping with the pandemic, and how also has it been difficult for you to keep the faith and the practice of the violin? Because I find for all artists, it's been a very challenging time.
Absolutely. It was hard at first to keep the motivation to practice for concerts that had been canceled and just continue playing at your highest level for yourself. But there have been some silver linings. My husband is also a musician, so we've played together more than we ever have had time to do in the past. So we found some interesting music for violin and clarinet, and just have fun doing that. And some of my teaching online has really kept me going, because when you are in good shape, you can really help your students to sound better and motivate them, and also tell them it's okay on those days when you really don't feel the motivation, and how to get past that. So I've learned a lot about that from personal experience throughout this pandemic.
Oh, that's great, to self-discovery and also to be able to help younger people with it. So I know that you're very involved in education, not only performance, but and we can tell by hearing you that you really have it at heart. Can you tell us about your activities as an educator and some festivals you eventually take part in?
Absolutely. So I do have a small private studio, which is now online. But I also make it a point to participate in other festivals, like the Sphinx Performance Academy. I was teaching online this summer for that. And then I usually try and go back to Montserrat each year when possible, obviously not this year, and do a little music festival there, which includes performances and teaching. And it, it's a really fulfilling project for me that I like doing every year. Unfortunately, this year we couldn't go, but we were able to fix some of the student instruments, at least, since we weren't able to be there in person. Some of the things that have kept me motivated during this time are having people who also help motivate me to practice. Like I call it practice buddies. So I have friends that will either work on the same piece together and then set a date to perform for one another, or just check in and ask, hey, how's your practice going? It's nice to have that accountability. And then you can actually work towards some performances. I've been able to perform online live um, by myself, and then also distanced with other musicians. And I've also been able to do some recording projects, sort of like NEPP did with the Nutcracker, where you record your own part and then an engineer will put all the parts together. So I've been able to do a little bit of things.
Have you had activities that are not music related, but that really helped you coping with the situation?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think we all, just as human beings, miss the social aspect of life. So I've gotten used to hanging out with my friends and family over Zoom or FaceTime, and that really helps a lot. I also miss the physical nature of living in New York City, where you walk everywhere, and so it's been nice to do some yoga online and go for hikes when possible, and go for walks and things. So that's helped me with my sanity. Also, a lot of cooking. And, it's been a full year, so I've experienced the seasons more completely. This was the first winter I really went sledding.
It's right around there you start going really fast.
Because there was just so much snow. And in this summer was the first year I really was gardening, because I had the time to do it. So I've had a varied year of activities, and I think that's helped a lot to sort of, take on other projects and just deal with the pandemic in that way.
But that's really interesting what you say. I For the first time in years, like 20 years, I was able to go skiing as well,
Yes.
and do things that I never do. And is it? I am hoping that I can keep some of that very healthy way of living, because you say, oh, I realize what are the seasons, but we are all humans, animals on the planet, and maybe it's some things that you want to keep once you are back to a schedule that is probably more heavy. Do you have an idea how you're gonna handle to keep all the positive aspects with a more busy life?
Yes, I definitely became more aware that I want to take some of this with me into what will be our normal life after this. So yeah, I think I just make time and really appreciate all the other aspects of life. I think it enriches, certainly enriches myself as a person. So
Thank you so much, Robyn, for being here with us today and for doing that interview. It was really great to get to know you more. And everybody, if you like this interview and what we are doing online, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and like the video on social media. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.